fictional character.
Good.
Our history, African American history, is nonfiction. The pain, the suffering, the humiliation that our ancestors endured in those cotton fields and antebellum homes was very real. And I wanted Sarah's story to be on point. I wanted the customs, the dialect, the lingo to be as close, as accurate as possible. And so I have to thank Gloria McKissick and Dr. Reeves Mitchell for working with me and helping me with that.
And so giving it a larger historical view in terms of the institution of slavery itself.
Right.
Very good. And I would imagine that can be instructive to all of us.
Yes.
Because certain things did occur in slavery that really were not encouraging, and especially to a young girl like you're dealing with here.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I recall some of the things that my own family history reveals in reference to the institution of slavery. And, and none of these things are kind or whatever, but nevertheless, that is the history that they had to endure.
Yes, and I had to deal with that history in the novel, even though so much of it is unpleasant. And I can remember reading through Sarah's story, proofreading it, and just over and over again, just feeling so sad, even though I'm the author, and I kept feeling, I would just feel so sad about so much that happened to her that is based on history. So, and then of course, Sarah resurfaces in the novel many years later in the present day and time.
You know what I found interesting in this is that the support that was given by the men to these women, and I find, and of course I think that sort of mirrors the support perhaps that your husband gave to you to go for it. And of course this young slave girl was told to go for it, and everybody's told to go for it, and they're told by their most significant others. But now that creates a kind of situation in terms of putting men in the position of what, telling their spouses to
supporting their spouses.
Good.
Because it's interesting that you brought that up, because as I read through the novel, and of course I read through it many times because I'm a perfectionist and I want to make sure everything was, just the way I wanted it to be. And I thought, oh my gosh, here these men are supporting their spouses, and I thought, well, you know what, my husband supported me with I mean, I quit a job. We just bought a new home. Our daughters were 4 and 8, and he prepared breakfast and took them to school. And many times he had to pick them up from school. And he was like, I just want you to do this. This is something you want to do. So I still have a very supportive husband.
Very good. And of course, in view of that, do you think that this novel might send a message perhaps to some of our men? And I know you're involved in the judiciary aspect of this, and we do have a large number of our young men, especially young men, who are having some real problems today in terms of their own responsibility. You look at where they are in terms of the prison system, and et cetera. And so what they need more than anything is quite a bit of encouragement. And I think that this would be one method whereby we could encourage them, give them greater encouragement to respect women in a real sense. I think that's what we're saying.
Exactly. And the men in this novel are wonderful, and they're very supportive. So even though it's a tribute to African American women, I also uplift the African American man in the novel. Okay.
Very good. And of course, what about what are you planning on doing beyond this, Judge, in terms of this novel? I mean,
well,
have you had any book signings?
I have a book signing. I've had one. I had one in December. I have one next Saturday, the February 28th. It's at the Maxwell House Hotel. And I belong to a group, the Les Joms. They're sponsoring this. I'll be one of the speakers also. The guest speaker is attorney Cheryl Cashin.
Okay.
And she's also written a novel, The Agitator's Daughter. and it's a luncheon, and after the luncheon, we will both be signing our novels. Yes.
And so there's some plan in terms of trying to get some publicity and reference.
Yes.
What about what if some of our viewers, over the last minute that we have here, if some of our viewers wanted to get a copy of this novel? I mean, where could they pick, especially the information that you gave in reference to the slave child? I found that to be one of the most fascinating parts of this novel. Where could they perhaps get?
Okay, the novel will soon be at the Carter-Ball4 bookstore and also at Davis Kid bookstore within the next week or so. Okay?
Good. Very good. Of course, over the last few seconds, let us thank you, Judge, for coming by and being with us and bringing us that excellent information.
Thank
let
you.
me encourage our audience also to check out Judge Carter-Ball's book, As Soft as Cotton, and also to encourage you to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.